السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بفضل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والعاقبة لأهل التقوى واليقين، والجنة للموحدين والنار للمشركين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. Once again, we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for gracing us with this wonderful moment and wonderful opportunity on the eve of the second day of the holy month of Ramadan. We ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to accept our humble efforts and make us worthy of being his true slaves and servants through this holy month of Ramadan. If mu'mineen and mu'minat will recall very well, last night we discussed ways and means of maximizing the blessings of the holy month of Ramadan. And inshallah, I encourage myself humbly and encourage each and every one of you, mu'mineen and mu'minat, young and old, to try as much as you can to make the best out of this holy month of Ramadan. Remember, our beloved Prophet made it very clear. We are Allah's guests in these holy months. Allah is our host. And so it is important when you are hosted by someone to try as much as you can to put up the best of character, the best of behavior that will deepen and strengthen your relationship with your host so that he will be happy to host you again. The verse I've just quoted from glorious Quran is chapter Yunus, verse 57. This beautiful chapter highlights on the importance of the Holy Quran and what the Holy Quran does to us if we affiliate ourselves with glorious Quran. You know very well, one of the titles of the holy month of Ramadan is that it is the month of Quran, Shahrul Quran. And it is also called Shahrul Dua, the month of Dua. So therefore, departing from this beautiful ayah of chapter Yunus, my topic of tonight, inshallah, is to look at the Holy Quran in our lives. And the aim of tonight's discourse, my dear brothers and sisters, is once again to inspire myself humbly and to inspire each and every one of you to strengthening your relationship with Quran. And if you already doing good when it comes to Quran, is to encourage you to do more, and most especially beyond the holy month of Ramadan. So therefore, our examination will be of the following three stages. The first stage is to look at Quran as cure for the diseases of the heart and as a means of salvation. Second stage of my examination is to look at the characteristics of the Holy Quran in the lens of Quran. And then the last stage of my examination is to focus on our responsibilities towards this great book and this holy book and these Allah's gifts, not only to Muslims, but to the entire universe. Now, the first stage of the examination, if you examine Quran, you realize that on numerous occasions, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala highlights on the roles of Quran in one's life. Sometimes you'll find, especially in this verse that I've just quoted, Allah refers to Quran as Shafa or Shifa. Lima fi sudur. It is the cure for the diseases of the heart. Hypocrisy, extreme in anger, gossip, slandering, backbiting, injustice, unfairness, and so forth and so forth. Allah says Quran is shifa'un lima fi sudur. Quran
if something goes wrong for
is
them.
cure for all the diseases of the heart. And sometimes no. You find Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will come forward and tell us Quran is a rahmah, it's a mercy, it's a blessing, it's a benediction. In other words, if you require warmth, you desire tranquility, you seek harmony, one of the vehicles and tool to bring about peace and harmony is glorious Quran for those who are able to hold onto Quran. Sometimes you find Quran will come forward and tell us it is hidayah, it is guidance, and you know the verse. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And if you go to Surah Al-Baqarah again, Allah says هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ. Quran is guidance for people, for mankind, and it's guidance for the pious ones, for those who are conscious. In other words, Quran is a vehicle to help one and all to stay away from diversion, to stay away from putting up bad akhlaq. Quran is a tool to make us better human beings or perfect human beings. Hence Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala will come forward and say, Tibyanun li kulli shay. Indeed, Quran explains everything. When Quran explains everything, what does it mean? It simply means Quran provides us with guiding principles on how to go about doing things in our lives. Simple thing like establishing your business. You'll find guiding principles on the type of etiquette to put up in glorious Quran. Now again, the Holy Prophet of Islam comes forward before he departed from this world. And he said to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, you know, Jibreel came to me. Holy brothers and sisters, I want you to pay attention to this tradition. When Jibreel came to me, he said to me, Sayakunu fi ummatika fitna. There will be issues, problems, challenges amongst your ummah after you depart from this world. In other words, your ummah will face with so many issues in life, either intellectual issues, theological issues, social issues, political issues, financial issues, and so forth and so forth. Then the Holy Prophet asked Jibreel, وَمَا الْمَخْرَجِ? Jibreel, what will be the way out for my ummah when they are faced with these challenges? Then Jibreel said, Allah said, I should tell you, Ya Rasulullah, the way out for your ummah during challenges is Kitabullah, the book of Allah. فيه بيان ما قبلكم من خير وخبر ما بعدكم وحكم ما بينكم. Allahu Akbar. He says simply because in Quran you will come across the stories of the ummah who came before you. And in Quran, you'll find the story of the ummah who will come after you, my brother and my sister. And then in Quran, you will find your own story. Hence, in case of difficulties, in case of challenges, one of the vehicle to hold on or to hold on strongly is the book of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, my dear brothers and my dear sisters, if you go to Nahjul Balaga, Khutbah 176, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen said, فَإِنَّ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِأَكْبَرِ الدَّاعِ. He said, in Quran, there is cure for the worst diseases.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You should have heard the laptop.
Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen telling us. Then Imam Ali alayhi salam outline on those sicknesses in Nahjul Balaga, Khutbah 176, that Quran cures. First one, he said, an-nifaq, hypocrisy. Anyone who holds the anti-Quran sincerely, he will cease to become a double standard. He will cease to become a person of two eyes. When I talk of two eyes, meaning what? Four. One for this extra and one for it extra. He show you this, but behind you, he show you different eyes. Two tongues, 2 ears. So Amir al-Mu'minin said, Quran is cure for hypocrisy. And he said, Quran is cure for disbelieving in Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And that is why you find our beloved prophets alayhi alafu tahiyyat wa salam mentioned in aradtu ma'aisha su'ada. He said, whoever desires successful life, wa mawta shuhada, and whoever desires the death of a martyr, wa najata yawm al-khasra, and whoever desires salvation on the day of reckoning, wa hudan yawm ad-dalal, and whoever desires guidance during challenging time, during times when there are clashing opinions, then Rasulullah said, فَدْرُسُ الْقُرْآنَ, study Quran. If you truly want to overcome all these challenges in your life, فَدْرُسُ الْقُرْآنَ, my dear brother and my dear sister, study Quran, establish affiliation with Quran, strengthening your love for the book of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It makes you appreciate your religion. It makes you appreciate who you are as an individual. Be proud of your religious identity. And the only way to do so is to hold onto the constitution and the system of this religion, and nothing but Quran and Ahlul Bayt, but we'll come to Ahlul Bayt later. Rasulullah said, why do you have to study Quran in order for you to overcome these challenges in your life? He said, فَإِنَّهُ كَلَامُ الرَّحْمَنِ, because indeed Quran is the word of the most merciful. وَرُجُحَانٌ فِي الْمِيزَانِ, and Quran will ensure that your scale or the scale of your a'mal is high. And Quran is a shield for you from going astray, my dear brother and my dear sister. And of course, last point on the first stage of my examination is again Nahjul Balaga, Khutbah 147. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen came forward and said, فَتَجَلَّى لَهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ فِي كِتَابِهِ غَيْرَ أَنْ يَكُونُوا رَأَوْهُ بِمَا أَرَاهُمْ مِنْ. He said, indeed their Lord manifested himself to them in his book, although They've not seen him physically, but they've seen him with their hearts. You know, Quran, a prophet taught us, if you truly want to talk to Allah, what do? You make salah. But if you want Allah to talk to you, what do? You hold the onto Quran. So Quran, my dear brothers and my dear sisters, is what we really need to hold the onto in our lives to ensure that we are in constant communication with our beloved merciful Creator. The second stage of my examination, which is a very, very important stage, is the characteristics of the Holy Quran. Yes, Mominin, if you can mute your mics. The second stage of the examination is the characteristics of the Holy Quran in the lens of glorious Quran. Kindly, I want you really to look at Surah Al-Waqi'ah from verse 75 to verse 81. There is a point here I want to indicate, which is very, very important when it comes to the importance of Quran in our lives. You know, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala begins chapter Waqi'ah 75. He said, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ. He said, I swear by the falling of the stars. Millions of stars we have. Allah said, I swear by the falling of all the stars. And you know very well, the logic of Quran when it comes to swearing is that what Allah used to swear is important. And the message behind is also important. It's like I come to you. I said, Haji Abbas, Wallah. Some say, no, by the Jan of my father, by the Jan of my mom. What am I trying to say? It's like I'm trying to give some very, very important message. Now, Allah said, I swear by the falling of the stars. Then if you go to verse 76 of Waqi'ah, he said, وَإِنَّهُ لَكَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. Allah said, this is indeed a great oath, if indeed you know. It's a strong oath, if you know. Then what does Allah say? He said, إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. That's the message behind the oath. That is verse 77. Indeed, this Quran is Kareem. It's a generous book. What does it mean to say Quran is generous book? It's to say Quran is beneficial to whoever hold the anti-Quran. Innahu la Quranul Kareem. That's the first message Allah wants to give us after swearing by the falling of all the stars. Then if you go to the next verse, Allah says, Fi kitabim maknoon. He said, this book, Quran, is in Lawhil Mahfuz. It's in a protected place. No distortion whatsoever is attached to glorious Quran. Then look at the third message. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. No one is able to lay his hands on Quran to extract the meanings of the Quran save those who are purified. Who are purified here? Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salatu wassalam. They are purified. They are the walking Quran. We cannot, under any circumstance, understand the meanings of the glorious Quran without holding unto Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salam. Today we have people out there who call themselves Shias, but they are trying to separate people away from Ahlul Bayt al-Asma wa Tahara. You know, Qatada, during the lifetime of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, would teach people Quran. So this message got to Imam al-Baqir, and Imam al-Baqir called Qatada. He asked him, Qatada, I heard you are teaching Quran. Is it from you or from someone else? If it is from you yourself opinion, then you are in vain and you are misleading people. And if it is from others also, you have misled yourself and misled others also. Then Imam al-Baqir said, this is my point. إنما يعرف القرآن من ختب به. He said, the only one who knows Quran in and out is the one who received the revelation of glorious Quran. Then Imam Bakr said, no others but the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. So therefore, it's very, very important, my dear brother and my dear sister, if you truly want to appreciate and unlock the treasures of glorious Quran, is to hold unto Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, is to learn the meanings of glorious Quran through the teachings of our beloved Imams alayhim salam. Suffice to say, our beloved Prophet, before he left this world, he said, I leave two weighty things. It's a known hadith to all of us. The book of Allah and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. Hence, it is important we make it a tawassul of Ahlul Bayt. It is important we do the ziyarah of Ahlul Bayt. Holding unto Ahlul Bayt simply means you are holding unto the working Quran. And as they said, we have two forms of Quran. You have the working Quran or talking Quran, and you have quiet Quran. The quiet one is what you have in your hands. But the working one is Ahlul Bayt alayhim. Without the working Quran, the quiet Quran will not be understood. And so therefore, Allah says, La yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun. And then if you go to the next ayah, it said, Tanzilun min Rabbil Alameen. This book is revealed from who? From the Lord of the universe. Now my point is here, the next ayah. Inshallah, mu'mineen and mu'minat, when you have time, check these verses. Chapter Waqi'ah, the next ayah, verse 81. Allah asked a rhetorical question. And you know, rhetorical question does not need an answer. It's to pass on a message. Not just a message, but powerful message. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala swears by the falling of the stars. Ya Allah, what are the messages you are giving us after swearing by the falling of the stars? One message, Quran is Kareem. One message, no one understands Quran better than those who are purified. One message is that this Quran is revealed by the Lord of the universe. But what is the last message, Ya Allah? He said, Afa bihadha al-hadith antum mudhinun. After all these messages, Allah asking us a rhetorical question. He said, oh people, do you take or consider this conversation in contempt? Me swearing by the falling of the stars and telling you Quran is Kareem. Do you consider it in contempt? Do you take it as a joke? One ayah, Surah Al-Tariq, in fact, two ayah, verse 13, 14. He said, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلٌ فَصْلٌ وَمَا هُوَ بِالْحَزْلِ. He said, Quran is a decisive statement. وَمَا هُوَ بِالْحَزْلِ. He said, Quran is not a joke. Quran is not a play. I and you, when we want to become law-abiding citizens of our respective countries, what do? We hold onto the Constitution. And that is the best thing to do, to demonstrate your patriotism, isn't it? To demonstrate your love for Islam And to properly understand the Islam, you need not to go anywhere but to knock the door of Quran and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So Allah is asking us, do you take this conversation as a joke? A question which will lead me to the last stage of my examination. Who considers Quran as a joke, whether directly or indirectly? This is the lesson to take away from tonight's lecture, inshallah, as they said, the nuggets. There are two ways of undermining Quran. And here, I'm trying to highlight on our responsibilities towards Quran. You know, the first manifestation of undermining Quran and taking this oath of Allah as a joke indirectly or directly is when one is unable to recite Quran in its original language. This may sound simple. I know sometimes in our communities, there are people who say, you know what? There is no need to know how to recite this Quran in Arabic. You know, the meaning of it is enough. Why do you want to recite in Arabic? I said, no. Oh, my dear brother and my dear sister, may Allah bless you. The first step towards establishing love with the glorious Quran is to know how to recite Quran in its original text in Arabic. Each and every prophet came with a miracle to establish the authenticity of his message. The miracle of our beloved prophet is what? Quran still remain intact in the language it was revealed. Quran is intact. That's the miracle of Rasulullah. You find children 5 years, some less than 5 years. They are able to recite Quran in its original language, isn't it? So therefore, my dear brother and my dear sister, mu'min and mu'mina, who is fasting in this holy month of Ramadan, the first step towards establishing affiliation with glorious Quran is to ensure that you learn or you study how to recite Quran in Arabic. And if you know how to recite, seek to perfect your recitation. Luckily today, I joined the Quran class, although I couldn't come back to recite. My apologies for that. Beautifully, I heard mu'minin and mu'minat were reciting. And mashallah, the tutor who was really leading them, his tajweed is unbelievable. I heard the way he was correcting them, really amazing. Amazing. That's number one. So for those of us, from wherever you're listening and watching us from, if you don't know how to recite Quran, begin just now. And if you know how to do it, perfect your recitation with the makharij, with the tajweed, with everything. That is number one. And Quran makes it very clear. Aqimu salata wa atu zakat. Then he said what? Qara'u ma tayassara min al-Quran. And give zakah. Then the third ayah, Allah says what? Recite what you are able to do when it comes to the Holy Quran. Now recite verses of the Holy Quran, of course, based on your capability. So let's learn how to recite. That's one. Number two responsibility, or if you look at it on the flip side, undermining the glorious Quran, is to know how to recite, but failing to reflect on the meanings of glorious Quran. To know how to recite is not enough. It's the first step. We need to know the meanings of what we recite. If you don't know the meaning of what you recite, you will not be able to enjoy or appreciate or experience it. It's very, very important that all our centers need to have tafsir classes now and then. We cannot have classes of other things when there are no classes of Quran. Alhamdulillah, we are doing it when it comes to recitation of the Holy Quran. And in fact, on the recitation, there's a point really I forgot to indicate. Our programs must start with the recitation of the verse of Quran. Now and then, whether milad of our imams, or shahada, or the wafat of our imams. So therefore, knowing the meanings of glorious Quran is our responsibilities towards this great book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah makes it very clear in Quran. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمَّ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Allah says, can't they ponder and reflect, do tadabbur? When it comes to the verses of the glorious Quran, can't they ponder? Can't they reflect? Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala is telling us. So it's so important, my dear brothers and sisters, those of you who have not started joining the darsa of Quran in the holy month of Ramadan, from wherever you are, this is the moment to begin establishing your love and relationship with Quran. Join the classes every night up until the last day or the eve of the Eid. And you will see the wonders of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, that after the holy month of Ramadan, you will see Quran will continue to be in your heart, and you will not be able to do things without going through Quran. And so therefore it's so important, especially to my brothers and sisters in Sydney. Alhamdulillah, you've got brothers, Sachu, brother Nanji, brother Shakir, and all those brothers, Ijaz, and them who are coming together, Alizada. Try as much as you can to continue with this pace, and Allah will shower you with His mercy and rahmah. Now quickly, to wrap up the discussion, the next responsibility we have towards Quran, after reflecting and understanding the meanings, you need to implement what you know of Quran. It's crucial. It's very important. You know, whatever you know of Quran and you fail to implement will become proof against you in the court of Allah Tabarak. Quran is not there just to be recited and to be reflected upon without bringing it to our life. If you want rizq, there is a rizq in Quran, my dear brother. Yes, I'm not saying fold your arms, don't go to work. Play your part and call Allah through Quran. And Surah Al-Waqi'ah is one of the surah we have a riwayah from Al al-Bayt. The more you recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah, the more Allah open the doors of rizq in your life. And for your marhumin, you have a riwayah beautifully. Whoever recites 7 times Inna Anzalna, Allah will make it easy for his marhum. And you know we do it when we go to bury our loved ones. And narration mentioned a place where Quran is being recited, shaitan is away. Sometimes you see in a house people are fighting and you don't know the reason as to why. Hold the hand to Quran. It's shifa. And if you hold the hand to this book, believe me or not, my dear brother and sister, you will never and ever go wrong. Sometimes if you ask a Muslim of other books, Shakespeare's book, I love Shakespeare, that's why I'm giving the example of Shakespeare. You'll find a person will be able to bring you everything of mind. But you ask him, how many verses or chapters of Quran do you know? Can you just tell me without just Googling back to your phone? You'll find people stuttering and people finding it very difficult to tell you. So therefore, it's important, my dear brother and my dear sister, to ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to soften your heart, to establish that affiliation with glorious Quran. Let me give you a typical example. You know, there was a companion of the Holy Prophet, Abu Talha al-Ansari. Abu Talha al-Ansari, you know, one day he was reciting Quran. Then he came across this ayah, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You will never and ever gain righteousness until you part ways or you part with what you love the most. You know the ayah. Narration mentioned when he came across this verse, he reflected on this verse. deeply. And after reflection, what he did, he went to the Holy Prophet. He had a garden, he had a farm. And he said to Ya Rasulullah, I want to give you this farm with its entirety. Use it to propagate Islam. Rasulullah looked at him and he said, why? He said, because I reflected on this ayah. And after reflection, there's nothing to do but to implement what I reflected on. Then Prophet looked at him and said, you've done the right thing, but take it and give it to your near of kins who are in need. Action, very important. There's a Japanese man by the name Kamara. I read it in one magazine. He became a Muslim. When he became a Muslim, he had 3 daughters, and the daughters were not happy. They would complain. And one day he sat with them, and he asked them, why is it that you're not accepting what I've chosen? Then they looked at him and said to him, it's simply because Islam is male dominance. There is nothing about women. So he had no clue. He didn't know how to answer. He went back to the one who introduced him to Islam. And he raised that question with that person. And the person said to Kamara, give chapter Ahzab, verse 35 and 36 to your daughters. Let them read it in the Muslimina wal Muslimat wal Mu'minina wal Mu'minat. And let them reflect on this verse. The magazine said they read, it took them time, they reflected, and one day they looked at the father. They said, we are ready to join you, and at least if you are not even joining, now we have understood what Islam is all about through Quran. So therefore, reflection is so important. You find this companion case. He came to the Holy Prophet, who wasn't a Muslim, core enemy of Prophet Muhammad. When he came to Prophet, he found Prophet reciting Surah Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. Prophet was reciting Surah Ar-Rahman. This man stood quietly and he began to reflect on the verses that the Holy Prophet was reciting. When Prophet finished reciting, he humbly requested Prophet to repeat the chapter again. Prophet repeated the chapter. By the time Prophet finished reciting the chapter, he looked at Prophet and he said, indeed, there is no better way than Islam. I want to declare to you from today, I am a Muslim. That is what reflection is all about, my dear brothers and my dear sister. And you know very well, brothers and sisters, Quran increases in our iman. The more you know, sometimes I'm weak in iman, I'm vulnerable, Sheikh, I feel like, my spirituality is going down. I said, it's true. There are so many temptations in life. But one of the best way to overcome your temptation in life, when it comes to your iman, when it comes to your faith, is to hold on to Quran. Hold on to it. Don't give up. It is your identity as a Muslim. I always tell people, your identity, you are Australian, you are a Muslim, and you are Shia Ithna Ashari. And of course, you have other identities, Hoja, Pakistani, Afghani, but your main identities are what? You are Australian, you are a Muslim, you are a Shia. In other words, Australian Shia Muslim. Be proud of that. Nothing to be shy about. It is the best thing to do. Be proud of being Australian, be proud of being a Muslim, and be proud of being Shia Ithna Ashari. And how do you demonstrate that? By holding onto the constitution of your country, being patriotic citizen, and secondly, by holding onto Quran. It's crucial. You've got even Western scholars from Germany, from France. One of them said, if you are looking for the most profound ethical system, said you should go onto Quran. And so therefore, Quran increases your iman. And Allah makes it very clear in Quran, isn't it? إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. Allah said, indeed, believers are those. إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. When Allah is being mentioned, they began to shiver. وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ. When His verses is being recited to them, it increases their iman. And they then solely depend on Allah. Tabaraka wa ta'ala. My dear brothers and sisters, if you truly want to appreciate Islam, Allah, don't forget to hold on to Quran and Ahl. Otherwise, you will find it boring sometimes, especially to the youngsters. I know you are very busy. I know you have so many challenges in life. So many challenges, I know, living in this global village, in the world of technological advancement, which of course it comes with its own side effects. You know, how do you lessen the challenge or the burden on you? How do you navigate through and to curtail the levels of the stress and the danger you have in your life? Is to hold the onto Quran. Quran gives you that peace and that sukoon. Lastly, Imam Ja'far alayhi salatu salam mentioned, Al-Quran hayyun la yamutu abada. He said, Quran is forever living. Forever living. It's always fresh. It looks new or it sounds new every day. Some scholars say, Kalamul la yumallu sima'u. It is something that you never get bored of listening to. When you get bored of listening to Quran, then you need to do a bit of self-introspection. Someone will come and tell me, you know what? That author is a great author. When I read his book, I become overwhelmed. It strikes me. I'm fascinated. It's fantastic. I said, fine, it's true. May Allah bless you. What of the book called Quran? Because the author is your maker. So it's important we strengthening this relationship. And Imam Zain al-Abidin made it clear. لو مات من بين المشرق والمغرب. If those in the east and south or north of the world died, and I have Quran with me, I will never and ever die out of loneliness. And Imam again mentioned, it is not acceptable for a Muslim to die until and unless he learns Quran and he understands Quran. And so therefore the message of tonight, inshallah, dear brothers and sisters, and once again, our apologies for the technical issues we had. And inshallah, we hope and pray the next segment of my discussion will not face with this challenge. It's inshallah to try to hold on to Quran and to make Quran your life, inshallah. And before, inshallah, I leave you, mu'minin and mu'minat, if you have any question, kindly feel free. Do not hesitate to ask your questions. It will be my greatest pleasure and honor to answer your question according to my capability and understanding. هذا بالله التوفيق. صلى اللهم على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل فرجه.